What's up, guys? It's Lucas Gilbreth back with another episode of Back on the Bump. This episode marks episode 7. So we've been continuing this journey through the Tommy John surgery. I got my surgery roughly on March 13th, so it's been about 12 weeks now, so we're getting into the nitty-gritty of this. So at the 3-month mark, for those of you guys that have been through it, you obviously know this is when things start to finally get a little bit more entertaining, but we're starting to get into our throwing prep. So for me, this is all the stuff that gets me excited, the stuff that gets me ready to go. So it's a lot of med ball stuff. We're starting to get into even some plyo ball stuff. So it's been pretty exciting so far for me. As it stands with the lifting stuff, we're still doing a ton of lower body stuff, as you guys know, but at the 12-week mark, fortunately, we're able to jump back into normal upper body exercises. So it's been pretty entertaining. The left arm is definitely weaker, as I pointed out in several videos, but I'm slowly getting there. I've been doing some exercises. It's pretty funny because I'll be going full speed with the right arm, and you'll see in this video I obviously don't quite have the same amount of strength with the left arm. But nonetheless, it's getting there slowly but surely. I think I started with, I don't know, 15, 20-pound dumbbells for a lot of these things, and now I'm getting closer to the 40, 50 range. So slowly but surely it's coming back. I just got to trust it and kind of keep going with the process. But that kind of leads me into my next segue. One of the things that's been big lately, one of the things I've learned a lot about, one of the things in the past I've obviously had a lot of experience with and a lot of people have told me about, is trusting the process. So in college, we had a sports psychologist by the name, I think it was Rick Aberman, but he talked to us a lot about trusting the process. In college, I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like getting into, too much of the nitty-gritty about the mental skills stuff. I didn't realize its importance, and so at that time I just kind of let it slide past, let it go in one ear, not the other. And as I've gotten older, as I've matured a little bit, I'm starting to realize the importance. So throughout this journey especially, it's a process. The whole thing's a process, right? At the end of the day, the result that I want, the result that I'm going for, is I want to be able to pitch, I want to be successful on the mound, I want to come back even better than I was before, right? So I want to be able to come back stronger, throw harder, be dominant, have better pitches, be a better pitcher, contribute even more at the major league level. But focusing on that isn't exactly what we need. So in college, a younger me was big on just like, oh, I'm just gonna, work harder, or do this or do that. There was no planning, there was no concept of, what am I working towards, what am I doing every single day. I just wanted to chase the result, right? I wanted to throw harder, I wanted to win games, I wanted to get drafted, this and that. And I think a lot of that will lead you astray with some of the things you need to get done. So back to trusting the process, that is kind of the idea, or this idea that you're focusing on the little details, the little things every single day. So with the Tommy John rehab in particular, for me it's like I'm doing PT stuff every single day, I'm doing different exercises every single day, and I have to be conscious and I have to focus on those tiny little details. It's not hard work, it's not anything revolutionary that I'm doing in there, but I'm having to focus and be conscious on every single one of my reps. For those of you baseball players, myself included, you've probably done thousands and thousands, if not more, if not millions, of eyes, Ys, and Ts or shoulder exercises throughout your career. So for me, it's something that, like, I've done it so long, it's easy to get lazy, it's easy to get complacent, but that's where this idea of trusting the process comes in. So I'm trying to be real conscious of, form, speed, focus, all that stuff. For me, especially with a little bit of ADHD, it's really hard sometimes for me to lock in and say, I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be present in these I's, Y's, and T's or whatever, because a lot of times it's like, I've done these twice already this week, I just want to be done, I just want to throw, I just want to be on the mound. But for me, it's trusting that process and trusting that doing those things is eventually hopefully going to yield the result that I want. Along those same lines, it goes into the lifting stuff. So one of the hot button issues lately is, what kind of lift should baseball players do? I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, a lot of comments on TikTok. Everybody wants to know what you should do for lifting. So part of me wants to say, there's these specific things you can do. You can do X, Y, and Z. But one of the big things, aside from what your workouts are or what movements you're really focusing on, is being present in your workouts. I see with a lot of high school kids, college kids are a little better, but youth kids especially, you're not really present. When you're doing pitching work, you're not present. When you're doing lifting work, you're not present. So you're physically there, you're physically lifting, you're physically, in the weight room, you're physically on the mound working on stuff, but you're not fully locked in. So that's one of those things for me. If you see me in a lot of these videos, you'll see, like, so this is me in the off season trying to get through some of my drills, and you can start to see how intent I am on making it game-like. So with this intent, I'm really trying to make this game like I'm really trying to get something out of this, because there's only so many hours in the day, and when you're a professional player, especially a major league player, you have plenty of time. There's no excuses, right? I am able to go in there for 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever it is in the off season, and I can work on whatever I need to work on. There's really no time constraints. I can make it happen. I can figure out, what I need to get done. I can take my time. I can do whatever. But for you younger guys, you high school guys, you college guys, even younger middle school, you only have so many hours in the day. You have a ton of school, you have a ton of homework. On top of that, you want to hang out with friends, you want to play video games. And I'm never going to be somebody that tells you guys not to play video games or not to hang out with your friends. I think it's ridiculous. But the thing is, when you are doing baseball stuff, you have to be locked in. So 1 hour of locked in, present, conscious baseball work is better than 4 hours of screwing around with your friends. Just as simple as that. As much as I don't want to be harsh about it, that's the lessons I've learned over time. It's like, if you can really lock it in for short periods of time, that's ultimately what's going to help you figure out how to get better quickly, and how to be efficient with your time. But one of the huge things for you guys is that time management aspect, and you wasting time doing pitching, wasting time doing homework. That's just neglecting time management as a whole, because as you get older, as you get into high school, especially as you get into college, you're going to learn that you only have so many hours in a day, and there's a lot to get done. I remember in college, for me in particular, it was like we'd have morning workouts a lot of days from 5:30 to 8 or 6 to 8, whatever it was. You'd go to class right at 9, you'd try and sneak some food in before class, but you'd go to class from 9 to noon, try and eat lunch, back to class from 1 to 3, go to baseball practice from 3 to 6, have tutoring from 6 to 8, and then sometimes we had yoga from like 9 to 10. And then you get home and you still have work to do. So you learn pretty quick that prioritizing what you're doing and trying to make sure that while you're there, you're getting the best that you can out of everything is a huge piece of that. So I obviously didn't do it perfect. I'm no poster child. I struggled with classes. I struggled with time management, all that. But the biggest thing I learned in all of that is that wherever you are, you have to be present. And being present means paying attention, making sure that, if I'm in a class, I'm able to get all my stuff done, so that then when I do get home at 10, that class is already taken care of, or my studying, or whatever you want to call it. So that was a big lesson I learned. And in college in particular, there's a lot of lessons that you learn, not only on the field, but off the field. So going along with that, I've kind of started to get to the point now where I'm at in my career and where I'm at in like my professional life. I want to kind of use some of these lessons for good, in a sense, and I want to kind of apply some of these things that I learned going through the ages, going through middle school, high school, college, minor league, big league, whatever you want to prioritize. I've learned a lot of things. So lately I've been working on an app for our facility. So the facility I am a part owner is 5-Tool. We do baseball, football, we do every sport. We do a lot of baseball specific work, pitchers, hitters, infielders, all that kind of fun stuff. But the big thing I've been focusing on, and focusing a lot of my time and energy on lately, is this app. So for me, this app is not necessarily some huge selling point, this crazy, revolutionary idea. For me, it's a cool way to give kids preparation and tools that I wish I would have had access to. So when I was coming up through high school, lifting wasn't very big. If anything, it was like once a week, and it was more of like conditioning and a circuit kind of deal, which was fine. There wasn't a lot of information at that time. But at the time, for me, it was like I'd rather just play other sports, and that got me out of conditioning, whatever. I played basketball. But in hindsight, I really wish I would have prioritized that strength and conditioning side, and then even more specifically, the mobility stability side. So my ideas that I kind of started formulating were, how do I make something that's kind of a one size or one store fits all. So trying to just find something that, like, you can go to this app, you can get every single thing you need. It's going to tell you everything you need to do on a daily basis. It's going to give you tools for development. It's going to give you tools to learn about the game, whatever it is. But as we look through this is kind of the preview, if you will. And the preview is a lot of the material that's going to be on there is on this preview, but the layout and the colors and all that stuff and the creative stuff is going to be a lot different. But as you look through this, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So the idea here is to have several different sections, several different things you need to work on. So for the in-person kids, it's super easy. We do evaluation stuff every year. So the kids are going to come in, you're going to get your mobility, stability, strength, velocity, speed, agility, all those different metrics, and you're going to kind of get a report card in a sense. So it's going to be like, you're really good at this, you need to work on this. One of the big things you struggle with is X, Y, or Z. So for some kids it's going to be different than others, but most kids are going to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then that's going to go into the app. So in the app, the idea is that every kid is going to have the opportunity to have specific workouts all the way from a warm-up to their cool down and recovery aspects, specific to them as an individual and them as in their sport and their specific position. So every single kid's going to have access to different mobility routines, different speed and agility stuff, different throwing even. So I know I've talked a lot about mechanics on here, but with the mechanics stuff, every kid's going to have their kind of diagnosis at the beginning of the fall or the winter program, and their throwing program is going to be catered to that, and it'll be changed as guys develop and make adjustments. But the idea here is really that every single kid will have a program, or a college or whatever age will have a program specifically designed for them. So as you guys know that have gotten to higher levels of sports, every athlete is vastly different in a lot of aspects. So some guys are great on the strength side but horrible on the mobility side, and vice versa. And then some guys move really well linearly, straightforward, but they struggle side to side. So these programs will be developed specific to each guy, because one of my theories for a long time has been everybody who is injury free is capable of throwing at least 90 miles an hour. And I stand by that, because I think there's a lot of aspects that if you really hone in on every single aspect of your movement, every single aspect of you as an athlete, you can find out what's holding you back. And if you're willing to do it, you can really work on a lot of those things. Now, like I said, there's going to be some injuries and limitations due to anatomy, obviously severe problems, severe injuries, whatever, past injuries, whatever it is. But for the most part, I think there's a lot of opportunities to fix a lot of those things and use kind of the information you get as a way to continue to develop. So for a lot of these, I think you're going to see that a lot of guys struggle, in high school in particular, are going to struggle with the strength and stability stuff, and a lot of the guys maybe in the college area that might not be throwing to their full potential are probably going to struggle with the mobility, because they've started to get that strength and conditioning down. But nonetheless, the idea is, just like I do for myself, everybody's going to have a specific program. Everybody's going to be able to go through and find out, exactly what they need to work on. Even for myself, I'm going to try and add I already added a Tommy John rehab program, but I want to add a good program for you guys to be able to access or purchase or whatever, so that you can have a solid rehab. You can go through all the same exercises and preparation that a Major League Baseball player did, because that's one of those things. I don't believe in this idea of gatekeeping things from others, because if there's things that I've learned and I've done that can help you out, I would much rather educate you guys, because to me there's a lot of things I wish I would have learned, but for me it's things that maybe somebody could have told me I just never had access to. So hindsight's 20/20, but I'm trying to give you guys some tools that may be able to help you out. I'll continue to post the content that I do, because that's one of my huge ways to help out, but I think that app's gonna be a huge thing for me. But other than that, I'm still doing some photography, videography stuff. I'm staying busy. My body's getting into better and better shape. I've really put some priority into the nutrition side. Nutrition and sleep is huge, as I've said over and over and over, but I'm really getting to the point now where it's like my body feels great. I'm priming the pump. I'm ready to go. As soon as I'm able to throw here in about 3 weeks, it's go time, and I want my body in the best shape possible. So I'm going to keep updating you guys. I'll keep trying to make these videos. Hopefully I'll be traveling here in a few weeks, so I can give you guys maybe some more vlog content, maybe even just some like kind of the day-to-day routine on the road. Everything differs a little bit, some of the stadium tours, maybe some real creative stuff. So I'll try and be creative with that and come up with some ideas. But once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
Love, X, no O. I was feeling rich, but we turned out broke.